Hi, yes, thank you very much, Lara, for this. And yeah, going after what Olivia just has spoken about having a representative or talking to a representative. My name is Henry Lopez. I'm the General Secretary of the Independent Workers Union of Great Britain. And I'm here today to talk about trade unions, but also what trade unions are for. So the talk that I'm gonna give you today is what is trade union and why you should join one. The second is workers' rights and contracts of employment. The third is organizing for collective power, and the fourth, getting involved in order to create real change in the workplace. Now, I think we have all been through issues in the workplace in different kind of ways. If some people haven't been, well, that they've been lucky, especially in this country. If you work in precarious employment, you are certainly to have problems at work, where you might find yourself in a very difficult situation, as unfortunately the law in this country is not on the side of workers, but also the system is not on the side of workers either, because there's no institutions or even government institutions that are there to help you when you have a problem at work, and it's very difficult for you to get justice through the system, because either you have to take the employer to employment tribunal, which will cost you thousands of pounds, which makes it even difficult to do that. So we're going to talk about the importance of being a member of the union. And as you can see in the picture, there is something about unions and there is something about sindicato. Sindicato is in Spanish means a union as well. And that's what the picture shows, that there is a diverse membership in unions, people from all backgrounds, all languages, different nationalities coming together into one body in order to organize themselves. Can we go next slide, please? Thank you. So what is a trade union and why should you join one? As you can see in the picture, all of those people are members of a union, members of the IWGB Union, who have organized collectively, despite working in different sectors. Some of them work as cleaners, some of them as security guards, some of them as porters, some of them work for the central administration or university, where these workers have been organizing in order to improve their conditions at work. Many of them have different issues. Some of them might not even have issues, but the idea of being in a union is that you don't wait to have a problem in order to get support, because unfortunately, if you are not a member of a union before you have a problem, the union won't be able to help you with your problems. In this country, there is hundreds of trade unions, which you can join according to the sector you work. In the IWGB, for instance, we represent workers from the cleaning industry, security guards, people who work for couriers, people who work for private health drivers, who work for Uber, and all these platforms. We have people in universities, and we have workers in the charity sector, in the game workers industry, yoga teachers, and so on. So a trade union, as you say, as we can see here, is a group of people working together to improve the conditions in the workplace. As it says here, employers normally have a lot of power, and it's difficult for one worker to challenge your employer, even when they are doing something illegal or something that is going against your workers' rights. It's very difficult for you to challenge your employer on your own. And the only way to challenge your employer, especially if you work in a place where there's many workers, is by organizing collectively, but also by being involved in the union, because the union will provide you the knowledge and also the information that you need, but we also represent you if you are in a difficult situation. So by joining the union, you will be part of a set of workers who are part of your workplace, who will come together and discuss the issues that you have in collectively. And there are things that you can change in the workplace by unionizing the workplace collectively, which is easier than fighting on your own. So the more power you have as workers, the more easy it will become for you to solve the problems in your workplace. That's what's important to organize in a workplace and to join a union. And normally unions rely on the support of an active participation of its members in order to be successful. The unions can be the best, can have the best activists, but if the workers are not engaged or are not involved in the union, it's very hard to help you to improve your conditions at work in whatever situation that you are. Maybe you are a low-paid worker, you want better wages, or you have bad conditions in terms of sick pay, holidays, or other things that you might be lacking in the workplace, or other workers might have better conditions than you, and you will have less conditions, which is a thing that happens in many workplaces with outsourced workers and workers who work directly for the institution. And as I said before, it would be very expensive if you take a case on your own. And obviously, not everybody wants to take a lead in the union, especially at the beginning. Everybody's scared about joining a union sometimes because they think they're going to get in trouble. But in many of the cases we have seen, is the other way around. Normally, you get in trouble when you're not in a union. Once you are in a union and you have a representatives and you're talking to a union, you are involved in the union, you will have more power, but the employees will respect you because they know you are protected by an organization that will be backing you up whenever you have problems in your workplace. And that's what trade unions are all about. So that's important if organizing your workplace, talking to your colleagues, talking about joining a union, because as I said, it's very difficult in this country to get justice if you are in trouble. So join a union before you have any problems, because if you have a problem, it will be very difficult for the union to support you. Many of the unions don't help when you have problems, because if we only had to go to the union when we have problems, then the union wouldn't exist. And it will cost a lot of money, especially in this country, it's very, very expensive. And we got the next system. So this is some of the workers' rights and that normally employees have in this country. So these are the many rights that you have as an employee. So if you work, there is many different contracts in this country. Some of them for employees, some of them are called for self-employed. The other ones are for workers who work in the gig economy, for instance. And there is also contracts like 0-hour contracts. So if you are an employee and you have a contract of employment, all these conditions apply to you. As it says here, you have, for instance, the right to have a contract of employment, not to be discriminated at work, the right to be accompanied by a trade union representative. For example, if you have a disciplinary in your workplace, sometimes you do things that you might get in trouble, but you have the right to be represented by someone from the union. In our union, normally we take even translators when you don't speak the language, for instance. And you also have the right to appeal. And then if the case is not successful, then you have the right to go to court and to take the employee to court. And that's the work that the union will do on your behalf once you are a member. You also have, right not to be discriminated. There is many laws in this country in regards to equality. There is Equality Act 2010, for instance, which protects you, in terms of your sex, your nationality, your language. So you have the right not to be discriminated in your workplace. In many cases, this happens in many workplaces, but because you are no member of a union or you don't know your rights, it's very difficult for you to get justice when these problems arise in the workplace. So as it says here, you have the right to have a pay slip to be paid every month if you are paid every month, and to be paid at least the minimum wage, to get holiday, to get sick pay, to get pensions, and to take regular breaks, to work a minimum amount of hours, to work reasonable, to have reasonable time off if you require, if you have children, for instance, to request flexible working, to take a maternity pay, paternity pay, maternity leave. So there is all these things that you have, and there are many other rights that you have as an employee in this country, which are not they are not all here. This is just an example. But there is other contracts that you might have. This is for employees who have a contract of employment. For instance, if you have 20 hours of employment, you will have this contract. You work a set number of hours. You will have a contract as an employee, but you can also have 0 hours contract, which is a contract that is very precarious, and it's something that we as a union are against, because it means that you only are entitled to a minimum set of hours that the employee can call you any day they want, and but apart from that, you have rights as like minimum wage and all the rights that you have seen here in terms of sick pay, holiday pensions, maternity pay, paternity pay. You have all those rights. There are also contracts for self-employment, and there is other contract for workers who work, for example, in the gig economy, such as workers who work for Uber, Deliveroo, and these companies that use the technology to employ workers. We have seen many cases where workers are terminated with a click of a button, and there is no right to appeal. There is no right. They basically have no rights. And recently, we've been challenging these platforms in the courts, and we have managed to get some rights for workers, but still these workers don't have many rights. That's why these workers have been campaigning in the streets, in the courts, in order to improve their conditions. Can we go to the next? Next, please. Thank you. So, as I said, organizing collectively. Why is important of collective power? As I said before, the union is a group of collective people who work in the same location. Sometimes you don't work in the same location, but they choose to organize in order to improve their conditions in the workplace. And there's different kinds of actions that you can take in order to improve the conditions, such as grievances, collective grievance, where all of you get together and talk about the issues that you have, and you can raise this against your employer. If things doesn't work, then you can resort to public campaigns. You can resort to strikes and change in order to change and improve the conditions that you have in your workplace. In our union, we have done this in many workplaces. We have improved pay. We have improved things like sick pay, holiday pensions. We have ended outsourcing by campaigning, by organizing all the workers. So all the workers have been organized together, and we've been able to do that. Without being in the union, it wouldn't have been possible for all of us to do that. Many of the times, the law, as I said, is not on our side. We cannot change. The government is not going to change pay from one day to another for us. They're not going to improve things in terms of sick pay, holiday pensions, but we can do it if we act collectively, if we organize in a workplace. Then we can do a lot of things. And in our union, especially, we have managed to do this in many workplaces, and the workers now are in a much better position where they have not just better conditions, but they have dignity and respect in the workplace. So when workers are basically get together, it's very easy to win and to make demands. But if you're not organized, it's very difficult to do that. And that's why it's important that the workers should get united. As I said before, like some people are scared to join a union, but you shouldn't be scared to join a union, because in this country, you are protected by law. The companies, employers cannot discriminate you because or victimize you because you are a member of a trade union. You don't have to tell your employer you are in a trade union. They will find out if you have a problem, and you ask the union to represent you on your behalf, which we do on daily basis for our members. So you have the right to protest, to demonstrate outside your workplace or anywhere you want to demonstrate, in order to make your voices heard. Obviously, if you are launching a campaign or if you want to, organize as a collective. We go to the next page. So getting involved in order to create real change in the workplace. What we normally do in many workplaces, as you can see in the pictures, those are workers who have decided to organize in a union in order to improve the condition. And that's why we have not just win conditions, but also stop job cuts, stop the abuses that are going on in the workplace in terms of people not being allowed. For instance, we found cases where people not being allowed to eat in the canteen, where everybody eats just because they are migrants. We found cases where people are sacked and dismissed at any time without any process whatsoever. We have people who have gone very difficult situations when they've been sick and they've been victimized by the employer instead of helping them. So this is something that we do as a union, and that's why organizing is very important. And there are some steps here that we normally do in terms of organizing, which is basically once you organize, you get the members involved, you tell your colleagues to join the union, and then you can make a set of demands once you have that collective power. Then you can also, if the bosses don't want to hear you or don't want to listen to you, you can start a campaign. You can escalate the campaign if they still don't hear you, and you can keep the pressure. You can turn up the heat by going, for instance, doing petitions, doing protests, and going on strike. In this country, to go on strike is completely legal. You have to go through a process which the union will help you. But this is something that many workers do in this country. When you see the underground that is being stopped, it's because the companies normally want to reduce the pay, or they want to cut the conditions of employment for workers. And this happens in many workplaces. And one of the last things I would like to say is that nowadays, especially because of Brexit, because of COVID, there is no better time to join a trade union. It's very, very important that you join a trade union, no matter where you are, no matter which union you want to join. But it's very important that you join a union so you are protected, but you also can get the support that you need in order to improve your conditions, but also to be represented in the workplace. Thank you very much.